Hey everybody, welcome back to the When Words Fail Music Speaks podcast, where we fight depression with the power of music. I am handicapped host James Cox. I have another great interview today. His name is Daryl Stephens. He was born and raised in ATL, Atlanta, big ATL, and so he has the app on your phone called Bass Parlor, and can't wait to talk about it. So I'm going to just get him on so we can chat right away. Welcome, Daryl, to the show.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate having me on. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
No, yeah, well, I am too, because we had to reschedule, so I do want to thank you one more time for rescheduling being with us.
Okay, of
Um,
course. Yeah,
But like I
absolutely.
said before, I couldn't find much about you, so I'm very interested to know more about you. So we're gonna just do it like a lightning round, be
Okay,
like this
okay.
or that, okay? Um, well, first of all, I asked this to all my guests, and I think you know these two bands well enough because you're close to my age. I'm 45, Um,
My exact age. That's my exact age. So we exactly the
nice,
same age.
born in
Yeah.
1980, brother. Hell yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
79.
Yeah.
So I'm a little, I got you beat by a little bit. I'm 79.
Oh, well, not by much, but not by much. But okay, so if you were sitting in the car and a Beatles song came on, and
Mm.
you changed the channel and a Rolling Stones song came on, which one would you stick with? Beatles song or a Rolling Stones?
I would say Rolling Stones. I'm not a huge into either of them. I know that the Beatles, I like more Rolling Stones songs than I like
Okay,
Beatles songs.
yeah, yeah. Which is the exact opposite I always get because I always get like the Beatles is the number one thing that everybody gravitates towards. But
Hmm.
I do respect a lot from the Rolling Stones. I mean, they have had a great career and great years with great albums.
Hmm.
It's one thing. So, who is your favorite artist right now?
My favorite artist of all time,
Yeah,
right now, I have to be. I'm a big David Gray fan. He just came out to do an album. He's a guy from England.
right,
I like his music of all time. It would be Curtis Mayfield. The
right,
combination of his just the music itself, the musicality of everything, like how he brings in all the different strings,
right.
horns, what do you call that? Drums and percussion, and the lyrics too. Very, very positive lyrics, very revolutionary lyrics. So I'll say of all time, it would probably be Curtis Mayfield. Lately, in the past 5 years, maybe David Gray. I'm always
Okay.
a huge Outkast fan, of course, but they haven't come out with anything new in a while. Um, yeah, I think those three, those are probably top
Nice.
three right
Well,
there.
I mean, you can't beat them. Um, I heard that Wu-Tang is coming out with a new record this year or
Are they
something.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know they
yeah,
just came out a new single. I know that I was a huge Wu
yeah.
Tang fan back in the '90s.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, back.
But I'm sort of upset that they can't release their latest album for like 80 more years or something. It's
Oh,
crazy.
really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because apparently they signed a deal with some record company saying that they can't release the album until 80 more years or
Oh,
something. 80 more,
wow,
yeah.
wow. I hope they got paid from
Oh,
that. If they can't.
so hopefully they won't do that to us this time. So
Yeah,
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 yeah.
really. I remember with Wu Tang. Speaking of Wu Tang, I remember when they came out with their second album, and I was. This is back in Atlanta. We had this is back when we had record stores and everything. We
Oh
had
yeah,
Towers
yeah,
Records, and I used to.
yeah. Towers, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember staying out till 12 o'clock on Monday night. Was like a group of us stayed out till they released their song. Because back then Tuesday was like the album release day, so we stayed
Yeah,
at and stayed up till 12 so they can just give us. We could buy the album at 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday
yeah,
morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I had Tower Music, Waxy Maxi's
Hmm.
Suncoast was a big one for me because my dad, as a retired colonel, we lived in all these states,
Okay.
And
Okay.
Suncoast was everywhere. And Waxy Maxi was a few places, but nothing like Suncoast. So yeah. Um, okay, so you were born and raised in ATL, Atlanta,
Hmm.
Georgia.
Right.
How is the music scene there? Because I know it wasn't for a while, got really kind of like basically like gone. They came back.
Yeah. Oh, it
Yeah.
came out strong. It came
Hey,
back in full
like
effect. Yeah, it came
yeah,
back strong now. So it's huge now.
right,
It's
yeah,
huge.
yeah,
Yeah. So I grew up here. We had some. It wasn't. I wouldn't say a huge music scene, but we had a solid music scene growing up, like in the '80s and '90s. '90s started getting pretty big. Like without '90s, when you had Goody Mob, you had Outkast, you had a lot of some alternative groups here. And this started really getting big in the 2000s. We had like late 90s, early 2000s when you had a lot of hip hop came out of here, a lot of R&B came out here, especially with like TLC. You had SWV. You had like a lot of big groups out here.
Right.
Um, and then just kept getting bigger. Like the
Yeah.
the pop and hip hop and R&B really had like a really strong hold here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So Atlanta's really good because you got like a melting pot of a lot of different kind of styles and cultures here. Like the Afro beat scene is starting to get really big. Um, of course, hip hop has been pretty big. R&B's been pretty big. You got a pretty good alternative rock scene out here too in
Right.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. You
that's
got
really
everything
getting.
on one place, which is great, you know.
Yeah, everything all in one place. Miami's not too far away, not too far of a flight
Nope.
away.
Yeah.
Nashville's a drive away. So you could touch every little thing. I spent a lot of time in Washington, DC too. So
Yeah. Well, Washington is an amazing city, but it's busy, you know, because
yeah. Oh yeah.
my dad worked at
Super.
the Pentagon for years, and he hated going
Okay.
travel, you know, because we lived in Woodbridge, and
Uh-huh.
he had to go to the Pentagon. He said every day he hated this job, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
commuting, because drivers can't drive anymore, man. I don't know how it is going right now,
Yeah.
but it's terrible.
Especially in DC and Atlanta. Those are
Oh
two of the
my
cities
God,
that
dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But okay, so you went to Full Sail University.
I
Um,
went there after so I graduated undergrad at Georgia State. So I actually have a long story. So I started off at University of Central Florida. I played baseball at University of Central Florida, transferred from there to Georgia Southern senior year in sports. So you get 4 years eligibility in sports. So I started off at UCF, Central Florida, University of Central Florida, transferred to Georgia Southern for my senior year in sports. And then I still had, because I changed majors and changed my school, I still had like a little time left to actually graduate.
yeah,
So then I transferred to Georgia State back here in Atlanta, finished up the undergrad at Georgia State. And when I stopped playing baseball, I had to have something to kind of grab that passion, you know? So
yeah,
I was used to like growing up, I thought I was gonna be a professional baseball player, major league baseball player.
yeah.
So
Okay.
when I didn't get drafted, I was like, okay, what can I go to with that same passion that I have for baseball? And for me, it was music. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go down to Full Sail, which is at that time, now it's got like a master's program and everything. But at
yeah.
the
Full
time I
Sail is
went,
amazing. Yeah,
yeah, they got
yeah,
a whole
yeah.
big campus and everything. Now I went
Right.
back in the mid 2000s when it was just a
It was
couple
just getting
programs
started.
down there.
Yeah, yeah. Just getting
Yeah.
started. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But I thought you wanted to play football, but baseball was your passion first, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baseball is my passion for sure.
Football wasn't even a thought.
I mean, I played a year. I think I played a year of Pop Warner. Then I played high school for. Actually, I played a high school up until I played spring football. Got the starting wide receiver position. Then I left. I quit because I didn't want to get injured for baseball. So baseball is
Right.
always my number one sport.
Got it. Yeah.
But I played football like Pop Warner for a year and played like high school for a year basically, and it was um it was fun. It was fun, but
Yeah.
baseball is always my number one
Oh
sport. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Baseball's always fun. Yeah.
yeah.
But at EA Sports, you were the musical director, right? Or
I wasn't a
you?
director. I wasn't a director. Actually,
Okay.
I started off as an intern. So I started off. So it's a crazy story there. So
Yeah.
I worked my way up, and was hired by them. But I wasn't a director. I left before I got to that level.
Okay.
So yeah, out of Full Sail, I thought I was going to work at a recording studio, but I really got into video game music.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
really big into that, and then so they had a program they had just started at Full Sail where it was a student video game program, so they could make the games like the student games, but they didn't have anybody to do the audio. So I did all the sound effects for it, like wrote the music for some of these student games, did some of the like voiceover work. I mean, my first one I worked on was like a pirate game, so I did a
Right.
voiceover
Yeah.
pirate,
Yeah.
like
All
every
right. All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I should have got you. We could have done that
All
together.
right, we can say I'm free. So if you ever want to hire me, man, I'm doing nothing. I'm making this $10 an hour.
All
I'm
right.
back. I can use my
Yeah,
money, man. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
But yeah,
so
so
yeah,
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So I imagine you did some work for Madden football too,
I did, yeah, I
okay,
did. So
okay,
when I worked at EA Sports, I worked on Madden football and NCAA football. Those are two games I worked on. And it was fun. Like so, Madden. I was a huge Madden player. I remember in college, all
yes,
we did was
yeah.
play college football and Madden. Those are the two games we play usually. And then we
That's
play
it.
like a baseball game, but
That's
like
it.
those are
Yeah,
the main two. So to be able to work on both of those games was awesome. I loved
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of the some of they usually have actual artists, songs from artists that for those games, but they have to have like little clips and stuff like that for the music. Worked on some of those music clips, worked on a lot of the sound effect stuff, and then
Yeah.
a lot of the dialogue, had to mix and master all that stuff too.
I imagine you had a blast working there because I
It
mean,
was fun, yeah.
who else could do that? Besides you and like I guess like four other people, doing what you do,
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. That was our team. We had a small audio team, small like
yeah,
it was like basically like five people. So you're right. It's
yeah,
like me and four other people. So it's
yeah,
a small team, and we got along really well. A great director, guy named Aubrey Hodges, was a great audio director at the time there. And so it was a really good time. And being in Orlando in Florida, so it was based in well, the EA Sports is based in California, I think Redwood
yeah,
City or Redwood
right.
Shores, whatever city it is. But they had the where I worked at was in Orlando, and they just worked on the Madden and the NCAA. And Orlando is like a really laid back city. So going to work with, and especially in the video game industry, so going to work in flip flops and shorts and
Yeah,
everything was really cool.
yeah, nice. Well, I imagine you said you were a gamer way back when, and I guess you still are, but
Not so
uh,
much now. Not so
not
much
no,
now.
but,
Yeah.
okay. So we got to get into this before we talk about baseball. My friend wants me to ask somebody, and I'm since you work with them, so he wanted me to ask, why are game developers so lazy now? Because it seems to be like glitches everywhere. Every year they
Yeah.
come up with the same thing. I don't know if you know, but that's one of the get
Yeah.
that out of that thing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it seems like
That's
they're
interesting.
really really not not their passion has lost they have lost their passion for making games now.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
that's interesting. I haven't game actually working there.
yeah,
I haven't played games since I left EA Sports. I
yeah,
was a big gamer, then I got burnt out on it, doing that day after day after day. So I
yeah,
haven't.
yeah.
But I can tell you at EA Sports, they I'm sure like they had a whole team that did like testing. They had a whole entire testing team. So I don't maybe some of the games he's playing, maybe that video game
Well,
company
yeah.
may
Well,
not
see,
have a.
back
Mm,
then it was A plus games. Now
okay.
it's just like all like they those just everywhere.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it feels like the same games you have every year. They're just different people. So I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
That was his gripe, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll
Gotta
ask
throw that in
somebody.
there. Yeah,
There
I'm
we
sorry.
go.
I hope I didn't disappoint him. I don't answer that one. I don't know the answer to that
No, 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 stay away from that. Yeah, yeah. But let's dig deep into your bass parlor. Um, so okay, so was bass your first instrument that you played, or like did you have? I mean, like how did you come
Yeah,
up
yeah,
with
the
bass
name.
parlor?
So
Yeah.
basic actually what's funny is like we don't even it's not even only bass players that go to bass parts. So I just when I was thinking bass, and I didn't grow up playing this, that's actually one of my biggest regrets. I didn't grow up playing an instrument at all.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so bass for bass parlor is like more like bass treble, more instead of
Oh,
a bass play, like a
perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
perfect. Yeah,
like bass notes.
right,
Um, but yeah, everybody that's a common question. Everybody asks, "You play bass? Like,
right.
how'd you come with
Yeah,
the name bass parlor?" I just always liked, like for me, bass is like you could feel it.
yeah,
You hear a song that has a lot of
yes,
bass. It's
yeah,
got a texture. It's got a feeling, like a presence to it.
yeah,
And then I always like the name. I always like the word parlor for like a lounge or like a place where people gather.
yeah,
And so yeah, that's why I just put those two things together. A bass
yeah,
parlor, like a
yeah.
lounge that you feel they have a lot of presence in their lounge. That's
Well,
why.
bass is like the backbone of music all the time. Because if you have no
Absolutely.
bass, then what's the point of playing music, man?
Uh-huh.
That's great. That's
Yep.
great.
True.
That's great. Yeah.
True.
So, okay. So I downloaded the app today and I just signed online and I can't help but I wanted to say thank you for making this app. Because
I appreciate it.
I'm a recently new music producer.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
produced some music. I produced like three songs.
Mhm.
And like you said, you don't have to play bass or guitar. It's for everybody.
Right.
And it's for
Absolutely.
artists, producers, writers, songwriters.
Songwriters, you have
It's
engineers.
I don't know if this is going to fit in, but it's sort of like a Tinder profile, right? You
A
swipe
little
in
bit.
every. It's a little bit like a dating app, for musicians, like
Similar. It's similar. Like
yeah.
we don't like you don't swipe right and swipe
No,
left
no,
like
no.
you would in
Yeah,
Tinder. Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
yeah, but everybody's got their own profile. You can go check people's profile. You can send them a message. What's cool now is you can also like go live and host your own workshop,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
can
Because that's
attend. Yeah.
And that's the newest update for the Bass Parlor. You start doing these live shows, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yep. So
yeah,
anybody could go and do either attend as an attendee, someone else's workshop. And this is all musicians here in the bass part. So it's like, you might like, for instance, you just started producing. So you might want to say go to a workshop on music production, or how to mix down a song that you produced, or mix down a beat that you produced. And so they have all these, you have these workshops you can join, and then you can and then you can host your own workshops too. And
right.
our latest thing is you can also start charging for the workshops that you host. So
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
trying to do is provide musicians with another revenue stream outside of their streams, like the song album streams and merchandise. You can
right.
also monetize your knowledge, your music knowledge and music experience.
Yeah. I like that because a lot of people still don't understand that musicians get a lot of their money from their merchandise.
Exactly.
If
Yep.
if you upload their songs to Spotify, Apple Music, I mean it's like pennies on a dollar.
hmm
And
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you've heard that you're
Yeah.
putting in this app, you know.
Yeah, and they're making like kind of like we were talking about in the beginning of the conversation, like back when they were selling physical like CDs or tapes or records, whatever it
Yeah,
was, but they were selling stuff physical. The artists were making a lot more money off album sales than they are now off streams.
right,
So a lot of times, like for the huge artists, they're still making millions, but for the independent artists, a lot of times they have to try to supplement this their money, their revenue with other ways, because they're not making quite as much as they would have back in the past. So now they can supplement that with an app like Bass Parlor.
right. So I'm looking. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just looking at your website. It's the base pro app.com for anybody who
Mm-hmm.
wants to go there. So I see that you have a collab camp. Now this is in Atlanta physically. I mean, for
It's,
people come into camp and learn from you and and who else is in your? Hold on, just a minute. Got it right here. It's uh
yeah, it's in Atlanta. It's in Atlanta physically, but all the workshops and everything, it's not based in Atlanta. It's all through your app. So you
okay,
attend the workshops, you host the workshops all through the Bass Parlor app. So you can do it from anywhere. Like we have a lot of people in the app that are from other countries, um, all over the place, all over the world, really. So you don't have to. So, but we're physically based in Atlanta, like we're headquartered in Atlanta, but like no one has to come to Atlanta in order to attend the workshop or host a workshop. They do that
okay,
from their
okay.
own home.
But you have Scott Reed as a songwriting coach and Prince Ella
Right. So that's
as your music producer. Okay, okay,
yes, that's a little different. That's something we do so we partner with some of the schools here in Atlanta,
okay,
and
okay,
that's a separate like initiative that we're doing where
okay.
we will partner with some schools, and then what we'll do is we'll teach the kids how to produce, how to write songs at a
Right,
school.
right,
And so that's more of like a little side initiative that we do here in Park. That's not the main thing, but that's something that we do with some of the local high schools here in Atlanta.
right. Yeah. And the base part opened in 2018, right? And
Well, the
so
Bass Parlor studios. So like we have a
studio,
long.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
before we were an app, we're actually a actual studio in Atlanta,
Right,
and then we opened in 2018,
right,
and we had a lot of things we were doing on the app at that time. We were doing at the studio. So we had like a shared workspace for musicians. We had like weekly workshops for musicians. We had obviously a recording studio. We had like a monthly showcase, and we were almost like a hub for independent musicians in Atlanta. And then we were growing a huge fan base, and then COVID hit. And then when COVID
right.
hit,
Yeah,
yeah, we had to shut down the studio. But we saw the need that musicians had for teaching each other, collaborating, finding people to work with, finding people to train them, finding to train, to mentor. Like this is a community. And so we said, okay, what we did at the actual studio, we can now create an app and do that for the users in the app. But instead of being just for the Atlanta musicians, instead of just being focused on Atlanta, we can now like spread out and impact musicians around the world.
right.
So yeah.
Well, with this app, what unique perspectives do you see these collaborations bring to the industry? Do you see it for well, I guess it's for the better because
Mhm.
anytime you create music, it's a wonderful thing, right?
Yeah. I think it does a couple things. I think one, it raises the level of music because I just know from I have a background in music production, and I just know from when I work with other collaborators, I don't do so much production now,
Right.
but at the time, it was a time where I was really, really heavy into it. And when I worked with other people, it raised the whole level of the music. And I didn't think it would, but just collaborate with somebody, being open to ideas, sharing ideas, and the whole experience is much more fruitful.
Yeah.
That's one. I think it raised the level of music, and two, it kind of changed the mindset of a more instead of like I got to do this, I gotta make it by myself. I don't need anybody to help me. It changed the mindset where okay, we're doing this together. We're collaborating. This is a group effort, and the whole vibe of the creation process is different when you used to doing it with somebody else or as a team, I should say.
Right. Mhm. How has developing this app changed your relationship with music? Because I think it's for the better for you because it's like if someone creates music through this app, uh, music is here to stay. Well, music is always going to be here to stay, you know.
Right.
But
Oh yeah, definitely.
but but has that relationship changed with the music or made it so much better for you?
It was changed. Like one thing that's changed is I try to think from the perspective of independent musicians more instead of what I personally need. What is it that most independent musicians need, or what is it that can help them in their journey? Even if my journey was different, what am I seeing out there that helps them in their journey? And that's one of the reasons that actually with the workshops,
Right.
so helping musicians get other revenue streams through monetizing their knowledge. So just I'm always thinking ways now, as a business owner and as a founder of the app is how can I help musicians instead of like what's my personal journey and how can I get ahead with my personal journey. It's always thinking about the community, the music community as a whole. That's one thing. I have a lot less time to produce now than I used to, and
Yeah, you need to
to
get back
make
there, brother.
music.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to get I want to
yeah.
get back to it, and I always
That's right.
have it. It's not even like I just love learning about music theory, different instruments, how they work, how they
Mm.
intertwine with each other. I don't have quite as much time to just study it anymore and just play around with it. That's one thing, but as far as like my relationship with music as a whole, I always try to think from the perspective of the people that I'm serving.
Right. And I guess that's good because well, I guess so you don't have any time to sit down and teach yourself guitar or bass or something, because I thought about it. I mean, I got a PRS and I got a Jackson's right back there,
Okay,
and
yeah, I
those
see it.
that's always been there ever since I moved in last year,
Uh,
and I'm like, damn it, I want to learn how to do this, but I don't, it's the mind,
yeah.
for you, is it the mind control thing that's messing with you, or you just literally don't have time, because you have this amazing business that you own?
Yeah. I just literally don't have time. So, but
Okay,
I do,
okay,
I
yeah,
do. In the morning, I do try to spend like 30 minutes, like just playing piano, learning some different things, trying to put together some chords, some chord progressions and stuff like that, just to get my mind started. Just to
yeah,
get like, I like to start my day creative and start doing like just messing around on the keyboard or like looking at a tutorial on something new on a progression that I don't know, or just messing around. I try to start my day with that, but I don't have the time as much to get heavy into it and
yeah,
really, really
yeah,
create.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of times, oh, you just need 10 minutes a day, every day,
Hmm.
10 minutes a day, and you'll
Yeah.
be playing guitar, piano, this and that within like a year. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that's so easy, but then again, time is involved. 10 minutes sounds like 20 minutes to me. I'm like, I don't know, because I gotta go to work, I gotta do this and
Hmm.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my problem too. Like I just know, and I start down the line. Like I have to cut myself off at 30 minutes. Otherwise,
Yeah,
like you
right.
said,
Yeah.
it's gonna keep going. The next thing you look up, and it's like 3 hours later, and you're like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" But you get, I'm like
But
you. Like I get so into it, time just flies by when
yeah,
I'm
I mean, it
on
just
music.
shoots when I listen to music, man. I mean, the time just flies. Even,
Definitely.
even by myself, I'm like, damn, it's time for me to go to bed. I don't want
Yeah.
to, I want to
Yep.
listen to some great music. But I'm going back to the app. And as well as I do, musicians are very, um, uh, they're very, what's the word? They want everything to be perfect, right?
Yeah, like
And
perfectionist for sure.
be a perfectionist, thank you, sir.
Mm.
And they're afraid of reaching out to other artists, right? So, what do you think is the most crucial piece of advice for musicians who are on the app? but are hesitant to reach out and collaborate with them. Is there some kind of like advice you can tell them to like ease their mind, about reaching out and collaborating with?
Yeah, yeah. I think that just know everybody on the app is wanting the same thing. No one on the app, and I purposely create a culture of like collaboration and giving and not competition.
Right. Yes.
Because it's just like there's no everybody's just they're trying to get better, is trying to elevate their game. There's people of all different levels and all different like skill sets on the app, and some people are there to learn. Some people are there to teach and share knowledge.
Mhm.
But everybody is there for the same thing, but just for the sake of making good music and just loving what they do. So no one
Yeah.
is just trying to like compete with each other. There's no one
Yeah.
there just trying to compete. And just keep that in mind. So when you reach out to somebody, they'll be open to reach out to you, and
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah.
you never know where that relationship would go. You never know where that relationship slash friendship would go.
Yeah. I always say people get the word collaboration and something else could be because collaboration means working together. It's not going against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
For sure.
understand why. Well, I do understand why you are what kind of hesitant to reach out. That you
Yeah,
want to work
yeah.
with me. No, okay, well, I'm the nobody now. It's like the mind message with your head. So
Yeah, and
um,
I think that's probably, and not everybody's extroverted,
right,
not
yes,
everybody. And so some people, and I understand that too. I'm not the most extroverted person myself,
right,
but I think when you remind yourself, when users on the app can remind themselves that look, no one here is judging you, no one here is like like I said, it's not a competitive nature on the app. Everybody's trying to do what's best for music or what's best for their career, but also in the sense or in the mind frame of helping other people too.
right,
And these are all, and like also, I purposely made a musician because it's like a safe spot. It's like a safe haven for people because you don't have to worry about trying to impress fans or try to bring on the new
exactly,
fans and stuff like that. You just hear everybody here is a musician to up their game,
right,
and
right.
you don't have to put on a front to try to get new fans and stuff like that. You're this is like talking
Right.
shop with other people who are doing the same thing that you're doing.
Plus, you're over the internet. You don't have to meet them face to face. You can
Yeah,
call
true.
you can always text them or something.
Yeah,
And I think
exactly.
that and I think and I think that because most people are fearful of what they think when you're standing right there. How they're
Hmm.
playing, and everything. So that's awesome. Yeah. Um. Go, going through this collaboration question though. Can you have you seen where the collaboration resulted in a very unexpected outcome where it's for the better? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
I've definitely seen that. And I've seen that a lot in person too, because we
okay,
also do a lot of in-person workshops. I mean, in-person showcases where we bring
yeah,
people together. And I've seen that a lot. So I used to have actually a series that we did on the Bass Parlor YouTube channel called the Bass Parlor Mashup, where we used to bring in an artist and a producer or an artist and instrumentalist. They never met each other before. And we gave them an hour to create a brand new song from scratch. And we just recorded the process of them getting together, meeting each other, coming up with a song idea, and we're and creating the song just off the bat like that. And we gave them 1 hour. We had like a little countdown, and they
right,
knew they just
yeah,
had 1 hour to do it. And we had 3 seasons of that, and probably over 20 episodes. And it
wow,
was it was incredible to see. Like a lot of times, that song that they created in just 1 hour, they would end up putting it on their album. One of them would end up putting it on their album. They would record like a cleaner
yeah,
version of it, but the
yeah, well,
like
yeah,
90% of it was done in that session.
right,
So I've seen a lot of great combos come from from just getting in there in the studio and or in the app, connecting with each other and doing it. Sometimes we need to bring people together who connected on the app. And so it's really good. So you like I said, you never know when you collab with somebody if y'all just hit it off
right, yeah,
and create. And like the thing I loved about it is a lot of times the great teams and the great pairings I saw were completely different genres. And I purposely had different genres. Like one time I had like a bass guitar, like a rock bass guitarist
yeah.
and a poet come together.
Oh,
And they made a really, really fire track. It was tight. And then I had a singer songwriter, but she was like more like an acoustic folk type singer songwriter. who's this, who's Tracy, like a Tracy Chapman type.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Tracy Chapman, someone like that.
Yeah.
With the hip hop producer, and
Mhm.
so they came up with something really interesting. I mean, I always purposely paired people with completely different styles and genres, and that's some of the best pairings that I've seen.
I guess you try to take it outside of their element, because when you
Hmm.
are so focused on what you do all the time, you're like you kind of like, get tired of it, just
Yeah.
like redundancy, Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I guess that's what you felt working at EA Sports. You did the same thing over and over, and I'm like, I gotta get out, man. I gotta keep doing my music. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta
Also,
stop playing these video games. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And I gotta get to learning music, man. Um,
yeah.
but this has been great. So I do have about like three more questions for you,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
and we'll let you go. Um, so Daryl Stephens at 17, 14 years old, okay?
Hmm.
We're looking in your bedroom. He's looking around the room. Is there any musical posters on his wall at 14, 15?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So
Okay.
of
Just
course, I
wondering.
had Wu-Tang Clan.
Right, yeah, well, yeah.
I was a big Redman fan. So Wu-Tang Clan, Redman. My first one, it wasn't when I was 14, 17. It was more when I was a kid. I used to have a huge Michael Jackson poster on the wall. I used
Yeah.
to be a huge Michael Jackson fan. Who else did I have at that time? It was really cutouts of, back in the day, they used to have a magazine called The Source.
Yeah.
So it would be cutouts of artists from The Source. I know Biggie was on there. I was a big Biggie fan. I was a big Nas fan, Outkast.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I used to constantly, when I had a new, like every month or like probably every month, I used to switch out the pictures that I got. So I used to get a magazine, cut out some of the ones I want to put on the wall. So,
Right.
but those are some of the big ones. Those are some of the big ones.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Redman did a shout out to you on your Instagram page, right? Or is that
Yeah, he
somebody else?
did. Yep, yep,
Nice.
yep. He did.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
like
yeah. He
yeah,
was one of my favorite artists
yeah.
growing up, and he did. I was psyched about that for sure.
Now was that like a collaboration with him, or did you just reach out to him and say, hey?
Yeah, yeah. No, it was like a collaboration with them. So
Okay,
I
yeah,
reached out and sent a thing about the Bass Parlor app. Sent him a thing about the Bass Parlor app. So I didn't know if he was going to view it or not. So
well,
he
yeah,
viewed it,
yeah.
and then he gave me a shout out on the thing. I was
Yeah,
happy.
yeah, right, yeah, because most people say don't meet your heroes, but sometimes it's like, man, I gotta meet Red Man.
Yeah,
It's so great. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was tight. It was
two
really
more
tight.
questions, for you, sir. Okay, um, four people are on Mount Rushmore. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
who is your Mount Rushmore of music?
Musicians. This is
Musicians,
the
yeah.
the greatest of all time, or my favorite.
Your personal favorite of all time.
My personal favorites. Wow,
Who
that's a
are
tough one.
who are your main four? Main four. We can do
Wow.
five of them if we need to, but four is
Okay, okay.
you know.
I can bring it down four. I think.
Okay,
Let me go. Let me go. Curtis Mayfield.
right.
He's one.
Actually, he's right behind you. You got the record deal.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Superfly
dude.
soundtrack right
There
there.
you go. Yes, sir.
Superfly
Yes, sir.
soundtrack.
Superfly.
Yep, yep. So Curtis Mayfield would be one. Uh, Man, just because to me he's a musical genius. Um, Andre Andre 3000 of Outkast
Right.
will be another one. He's to me like he has the most genuine raps of anybody I've ever heard. This is
Yeah.
very genuine. His flow is already to me sick, but as far as like lyrics, he's to me his lyrics are the most timeless. It's the most genuine and true to who he is. Um, David Gray, I mentioned him
Yeah.
earlier. David Gray, just because I like his. If I was to study songwriting, I would study David Gray. His imagery when he writes songs,
Right.
really is him playing piano or him playing guitar, but the imagery of the lyrics and how he explains things. Sometimes I hear him word a certain thing. Mostly he talks about love and life issues and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But how he words it, sometimes it's like, oh, I wish I had thought of that. I wish
Right.
I had thought of wording
Wish.
it like that, or
Yeah.
like that's a feeling that I had. I just didn't know how to articulate it. He's really good at doing that. So that's four. That's three. That's three.
That's three. You got one more. Those are
Uh,
all three great picks, man. Yeah, so yeah. One
man, I might
more.
have to go with. Man, I might have to go with. I might have to go with Stevie Wonder. I might have to go with Stevie Wonder. Um, His music is just timeless. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah, it's just like he's got. It's a lot of his songs that aren't like his early stuff. Like I'm not a big fan of '60s music, but I love '70s music. So his early stuff is a little too boppy for me, a little
yeah.
too bubblegum for me. But when he gets in the pocket, he had a run in the '70s,
Hmm.
like songs in the key of life and all. It was just like, man, he's incredible. So maybe Stevie Wonder might be. I feel like I forget a lot of people.
Yeah, see, that's what it is. It's like you've got four, and
Yeah,
you can't decide which one, because I
yeah,
know as soon as you hang up from this call, you're like, maybe I should have said this guy, that guy. Always
yep,
good. Yeah.
yep. So I'm gonna go with those four. I'm gonna go with those four.
Nice. Well, you can't beat that four. That's a great four. So we got one more question, and then this is going to be the hardest question for you right now.
Okay, okay.
Um, okay, so you have one artist, album, or singer that you can listen to personally, but after you hear that whoever whichever one it is,
Mhm.
you can't tell me, your family, your friends, how it makes you feel deep inside your soul. What, who, and what would that be?
That when I hear it, I can't tell them. I can't tell you.
It's so ingrained in your soul, you just can't express how it makes you feel.
Uh,
Yeah,
wow. That is a tough one. That's a tough question,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Um, man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would have to say, shoot. I would have to say maybe Erykah Badu's Baduism.
Got it. Yeah.
That was a
That's a
heavy album.
power. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Very, very
yeah.
powerful too. Yeah,
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 that was a really powerful album, and it
yeah.
was just like it was just everything flowed into the next song. I remember when it came out. I think it was a freshman in college. It was either a freshman in college or a senior in high school, and I just listened to it nonstop on repeat. And I was like, I had never heard that style of music before. Like she was on a cutting edge, what they call neo soul.
Yeah.
So it was just like it was a first of that lane. Her and like D'Angelo. But yeah, I might say Baduism.
I do.
That hit me
Okay.
pretty
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. But that's a perfect response because it moves you, and I can't. You can't explain it to me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
I can
perfect.
explain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's perfect. Yeah, because that's what I wanted. Because I wanted your response to be raw. I didn't want to. So thank you
yeah,
for that. Yeah,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Oh
So.
yeah.
So Mr. Daryl Stephens is on the internet, all over the internet, on bassparlorapp.com. He's on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So make sure you follow him on those sites. And you can download his app, Bass Parlor, and it's free, but you can't upgrade to a 99 cents per month to get more features. Am I correct?
299 a
Two
month for
ninety
more
nine. Okay,
features.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. I thought I'd read 99 cents, but that's okay. Two
that's all
ninety
right.
nine
That's all
ain't
right.
bad. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I guess you get to collaborate with even more if you upgrade, or like
Yeah, yeah. If
like
you upgrade
extra
to the
stuff. Right?
premium, you get to monetize your workshops that you throw. So as a premium member, if you throw a workshop, if you decide to host a workshop, you can decide you can charge for that workshop if you want to,
Okay.
and then you can also download that workshop to your phone and then share it on YouTube or put on YouTube or share it on Instagram or TikTok, whatever you want to do. So premium members do that, and also you get highlighted as a premium member too. So when people
Okay.
look for different collaborators, they'll see your name and your picture first. So a
Right.
lot of times the premium members get a lot more messages and stuff like
Right.
that
Right.
than a regular
Yeah.
member.
I mean, 299, you can't go wrong, right? Yeah.
Can't go
And
wrong. Yeah.
right now you only work with Venmo, right? You don't work with PayPal yet or Cash App yet. It's only through Venmo.
Oh, they can use that depending on if you have Android
Okay.
or iPhone. You can use Apple Pay to pay if
Okay.
you want to
Okay.
do that, or you can we use pretty much everything. So a lot of times with
Okay.
Google, you can use Google Pay, and with iPhone, Apple Pay,
Yeah.
for to paying for the workshops that you want to attend if you couldn't
Mhm.
make it live. So how it works basically is it's free to attend live, and then if you want to access a video of a workshop of a one you could attend live for free, you can also pay for it if that user, that host, decides he wants to charge for it.
Right.
Some of them
Okay.
just make it free also.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Cool. Cool.
yep.
Well, Mr. Darryl, I love you to death, and I think God, you come back anytime you want to,
Oh, thank you,
and just
sir.
talk about music. And I do have one more question for you, but that's all air, so stay
Okay,
around here for
okay.
just a minute. So, I just want to thank you again, and everybody, download the Bass Parlor app and follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and you're not, you're on Facebook too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, everything. I'm on everything.
YouTube and LinkedIn, so we do honestly thank you, and we welcome you back anytime you want. Okay,
All right, thank you, Jess. I appreciate it. Enjoy the conversation.
thank you so much, sir. And with that said, everybody listening, always remember when words fail, music speaks. Bye, guys.